chromed out six and bubbling, laying up with them Colombians.
I testicles, get sprayed for they decimals. The king and I, all you need in this world, I'm a bad girl.
They say that you fired at least 20 shots during that time. And this guy named Efrain Ocasio got shot.
Yeah.
It was outside New York City radio station Hot 97 last week. Police say it was Lil Kim's posse versus friends of Foxy Brown. 5 guns in all, 21 shots fired, and 1 man shot in the back.
In the mid-1990s, when New York still held the reins of the hip-hop world, 2 fierce female MCs were about to shake things up in a big way. Both hailing from Brooklyn and even crossing paths at Brooklyn College Academy, Lil Kim and Foxy Brown were on the brink of greatness. However, their paths were also destined to collide in a legendary feud. Some folks say that Biggie's and Tupac's beef pales in comparison to the drama between Kim and Foxy, and we all know how intense their feud was. What a lot of people don't realize is that their beef got so bad, it involved drive-by shootings and actual shootouts. Let's dive into the backstory of these 2 iconic rappers, starting with the Queen Bee herself, Lil Kim.
They say that you fired at least 20 shots during that time. And this guy named Efrain Ocasio got shot.
Yeah.
Lil Kim, born Kimberly Denise Jones, found her way into the rap game in a rather serendipitous manner. After a long day working at Bloomingdale's, she was approached by none other than the notorious Big, aka Biggie Smalls. Biggie had heard whispers about Kim's rapping skills, but was skeptical due to her glamorous appearance. At that time, Kim wasn't really serious about rapping. Biggie, ever the provocateur, teased her, claiming she couldn't rap. Kim took the bait, spitting some bars on the spot, and Biggie was instantly impressed. From that moment, it was on. Biggie started bringing Kim around his crew and eventually placed her in Junior Mafia, a group he was mentoring. Under Biggie's wing, Kim honed her craft. He not only guided her musically, but also helped shape her image and lyrical content. One key piece of advice Biggie gave Kim was to soften her voice. Initially, Kim's style and voice were much rougher, but Biggie saw potential in a more polished delivery. Lil Kim made her first major appearances on Biggie's debut album, Ready to Die, which dropped in September 1994. She popped up on the intro, the infamous F*****me interlude, and the track Friend of Mine. These features gave her a taste of the spotlight and set the stage for what was to come. The following year, in 1995, Junior Mafia released their debut album, Conspiracy. The album spawned hits like Player's Anthem and Get Money, with Kim's standout performances earning her a ton of attention. Her verses were fire, and the songs were climbing the charts, putting her firmly on the map.
Used to pack packs and Cadillacs, now I pimp gats in the axe. Watch my back.
Lil Kim was poised to be the first member of Junior Mafia to drop a solo album. But before we get to that, let's shift our focus to the other half of this dynamic duo, Foxy Brown. Foxy Brown, born Inga DeCarlo Fung Marchand, had her own unique journey to stardom. Growing up in Brooklyn, she had connections with notable figures like DJ Clark Kent and Tone from the production duo The Trackmasters. Foxy started making waves in Brooklyn's underground scene, particularly at the Lyricist Lounge, where she went by the name Queen Nefertiti and performed as part of a group called Rotten Candy. Initially, Foxy was known as Big Shorty when she landed her first record deal with Capitol Records. However, she changed her name to AKA before ultimately being dropped by the label. Determined to make her mark, she then tried her luck with Bad Boy Records but was turned down by Diddy. Undeterred, she reinvented herself as Foxy Brown, inspired by Pam Grier's iconic character in the blaxploitation film Foxy Brown. Pam Grier herself gave Foxy the green light to use the name but urged her to elevate it. Foxy's big break came when she featured on the remix of LL Cool J's classic track I Shot Ya. Interestingly, that song was originally meant for Biggie, but it ended up in LL's hands. There was some hesitation about putting an unknown artist on such a major track, but Foxy went into the booth and her performance left everyone in awe, proving she could hold her own with the best of them.
Get a mix, the chinks, toe down, we sip drinks, rockin' mix, flashing rings and things.
Following this breakout moment, Foxy found herself at the center of a heated bidding war between record labels. Def Jam ultimately won, signing her to a lucrative deal. This deal set the stage for her debut album, but we'll get to that in a bit. Lil Kim and Foxy Brown, despite their differences, shared several similarities in their rise to hip-hop stardom. Both were Brooklyn girls who made significant connections that propelled their careers. Lil Kim got her break through her ties with Biggie Smalls, while Foxy Brown was linked with influential figures like DJ Clark Kent, Tone from the Trackmasters, and got a big push from Jay-Z. They both entered the rap scene at a young age and revolutionized the genre for female rappers. Interestingly, they even briefly attended the same high school, Brooklyn College Academy, and had a cordial relationship during their school days. At the time, everything seemed cool between Kim and Foxy. In fact, you can find an interview Lil Kim did with The Source in the same month that both her and Foxy's debut albums dropped. There was a buzz about Foxy mimicking Kim's style, but Kim brushed it off. She mentioned that every interview she did, she was asked about Foxy, and she'd say Foxy was her girl. Kim highlighted the importance of women in rap sticking together, stating that it was great to see another woman kicking a similar style. She expressed love for all the female rappers of that era because they were proving that women could do what men do, maybe even better. Foxy, in turn, acknowledged Kim's influence, crediting her with paving the way for her own sexy, hardcore style.
She's Queen Bee, and I give it up to her. She did a, you know what I mean? She was doing a thing before me. She paved the way. Right. She was the first one coming out with the little, you know what I mean? The sexy things. She did her thing, and she's doing her thing, and that's my girl. The
two even collaborated on the No One Else Puff Daddy remix by Total, showing their camaraderie. Lil Kim's debut album, Hardcore, dropped on November 12, 1996, and peaked at number 11 on the Billboard 200, selling 78,000 copies in its first week.
Why you count your jewels thinking I'ma cheat you? The only one thing I wanna do is freak you.
Just a week later, on November 19th, Foxy released her debut album, Il Na Na, which outperformed Hardcore in its first week by selling 109,000 copies and peaking at number 7 on the Billboard 200. Foxy broke Kim's record for the highest debut for a solo rap album by a woman, a title Kim held for just a week. Although Il Na Na initially did better numbers, Hardcore ultimately proved more enduring, with Kim becoming a huge buzz in the hip-hop scene. During that time, Lil Kim was everywhere. Hardcore spawned several hit singles, and her album poster was plastered all over the place. Foxy was also making waves, featuring on tracks like Ain't No N with Jay-Z, the You're Making Me High remix with Tony Braxton, and Touch Me Tease Me. The singles from her debut album did well too, with Get Me Home peaking at number 42 on the Billboard Hot 100, I'll Be reaching number 7, and Big Bad Mama climbing to number 53. Interestingly, on the self-titled 9th track of Il Na Na, Foxy even gave a shout-out to Lil Kim, saying she was eagerly anticipating Kim's album, knowing it would be tight. The timing of their album releases just a week apart only fueled comparisons between the two. By February 1997, both were on the rise, frequently being compared to each other. They graced the cover of The Source magazine together. Although they were interviewed separately, they seemed friendly and did the photo shoot together. Yet, something shifted and their relationship soured. DJ Clark Kent, who had connections with both women, reflected on the sudden change. All of a sudden, they just weren't cool. It was like, what the F happened? How did they become uncool? Who said what? Who did what? Would it sound weird to you if I never asked? It would sound weird because one of my cousins and I was producing for the other. Would it seem weird because I introduced one to Jay-Z and the other one is Big's protege? And I'm producing both, and I'm DJing for Big, but I'm Jay-Z's producer. Or would it seem smart because if I asked at some point I had to take a side, but if I don't ask I keep loving my cousin and producing records and DJing here and doing what I do? Now there are multiple stories about how the beef between Lil Kim and Foxy Brown allegedly started. DJ Clark Kent once mentioned that Daddy Yo, one of the key figures behind Junior Mafia, initially considered bringing Foxy Brown into the group. However, Clark Kent wasn't sure if Junior Mafia could accommodate 2 female members, and he clarified that the final decision to include Lil Kim over Foxy Brown wasn't a result of any rivalry between the two. This incident happened long before their debut albums were released, and even after that, Kim and Foxy seemed to be on good terms. Another theory about the origin of their beef comes from Kim Osorio, a seasoned hip-hop journalist and former editor-in-chief of The Source. She shared that she'd heard different versions of the story, but one that stuck out involved their album packaging. If you look at both of their debut albums, you'll notice that they're wearing the same outfit. Osorio recalled hearing that one of them had borrowed the outfit from the other, which led to a fallout. She remarked, "Whatever the reason, it seemed trivial to everyone around." To give you a clearer picture, here's the outfit she's referring to. It's identical in both their album covers. DJ Clark Kent also speculated that the beef could have been sparked by something trivial and blown out of proportion, possibly a misinterpretation from an article, and no one around them clarified the misunderstanding. There's a lot of talk about Foxy supposedly copying Kim's style, both in rapping and fashion. You can find numerous pictures comparing Foxy's outfits to Kim's. Despite Foxy acknowledging that Kim paved the way for her and was the first to rock that sexy hardcore style, Lil Kim might have felt enough was enough after a while. In 1997, Liar Cohen, Foxy Brown's brother, revealed in a 2011 interview with Vibe that Cohen had planned to pay Kim and Foxy $500,000 each to record the infamous Thelma and Louise project at the Hit Factory, a renowned recording studio. Unfortunately, both Kim and Foxy never showed up. DJ Clark Kent mentioned that years later, someone offered him $1 million to make the album happen. He made some calls but couldn't reach Kim and Foxy directly, instead talking to their respective teams, and it just never materialized. In 2021, Fat Joe hosted an Instagram Live show with Rashad Ringo Smith, a former Bad Boy producer, who played a snippet of a never-before-heard track titled Enjoy Yourself. This track was reportedly meant for Kim and Foxy's Thelma and Louise album.
Now I got the drop, we can pause for a second, so we dipping in the cat. Know it's first thought, I'm hitting that. Sipping Chris hard, straight tripping in the back. Momentary lapse, told them don't be ashamed.
Fans were disappointed that the project never came to fruition because the track sounded amazing. Imagine a Watch the Throne type album between Foxy and Kim in 1997. It would have been epic. Some fans believe that the tension between Foxy and Kim wouldn't have escalated to the level it did if Biggie hadn't passed away in March 1997. Foxy aligning herself with Nas in The Firm, moving away from Jay-Z's circle, might have also played a role. However, DJ Clark Kent calls BS on this, insisting that the rift between Foxy and Kim was more personal than professional. One of the first times the beef between Lil Kim and Foxy Brown was addressed was in Foxy's song My Life from her China Doll album, released in January 1999. In the song, Foxy reflects on how she and a certain girl, presumably Lil Kim, used to be close like sisters, dreaming together about their future success. She makes a direct reference to Thelma and Louise, the supposed name of their collaborative album, and talks about how they eventually drifted apart and stopped speaking. Foxy raps, "Confused all these years, we grew all these years. I remember me and you on the stairs, talking about what we gonna do when we're big. Money came into play and best friends went their way. I wish it never had to go that way. The price of fame can cost a whole friendship. Yeah, we got dollars, but it's senseless."
You was my sister. We used to dream together how we could make it real big, do our thing together.
Later that same year, Lil Kim responded with some shots on Lil Caesar's track Play Around from his debut album. Interestingly, it was Diddy who initially told other female rappers to stop copying Lil Kim's style. With the constant media comparisons between Foxy and Kim, this was perceived as a jab at Foxy. This track came out in 1999. The following year, Lil Kim released her album The Notorious Kim, which was surrounded by a lot of drama. In the summer of 1999, several songs from the original album were leaked and widely available through internet file sharing services and bootleg outlets. On the self-titled track from the album, Lil Kim went in hard with some serious disses in the first verse. She called out girls who claim to be different but actually want to be like her. Kim rapped about a girl with a gap who has fake raps and panic attacks, a clear shot at Foxy, known for her sometimes erratic behavior. Kim continued by saying Foxy isn't a star and her record label knows it. She questioned how Foxy made all her money and got so far. And she even said she'd bet on Lil Cease before Foxy and her crew, The Firm. Kim wrapped up her verse by saying if this were back in the day, she would have already dealt with Foxy, but now that she's making money, the girls in the hood can handle her. She also told Foxy to stop paying people to write her lyrics. Here's what Kim rapped. "Girls say they different, but see, in all actuality, they wanna be me. This chick running around with this stink gap and them fake raps having panic attacks. You ain't a star. And your record company know that. How you make all this money, get this far, and blow it? I'm a businesswoman now, so I'm not concerned. I'd bet on Lil Cease before you and your firm."
This chick running around with a stink gap and fake raps having panic attacks. You ain't a star.
Fox fired back with her verse on the track, Bang Bang, from Capone and Noriega's album The Reunion, released in 2000. According to Noriega, the verse we hear from Foxy was actually the least disrespectful version she had. The original version was supposedly much worse. The lines about Biggie in this song are said to be one of the main causes of the infamous Hot 97 incident. Foxy called out Kim for talking slick and sneak dissing. She referenced Kim's track Notorious Kim, and told Kim to let Biggie rest in peace and to stop riding his coattails. Foxy also threw in a jab about Kim pushing back her album release due to the leaks. Foxy rapped, You talk slick. F is all that sneak-ish. You and Diddy, y'all came me with that subliminal-ish. B, why's you frontin' and kickin' that street-ish? Please impress me, go back to that freakish. While your broke A was guzzlin' nuts and ish, I was chopping the weights, leak and Ozies and ish. A decoy B, like the feds lie in you. Ain't you supposed to have a little bit of bed-stuy in you? Let the N rest in peace, and hop off as D, B do you. And y'all is like F Fox, well screw y'all too. Let's be truthful, give a F if your album pushed back. Or when it hit the streets, B, you're still weak.
Your album pushed back, but when it hit the streets, it's still weak. It still sound lame, my name still ring.
After the Bang Bang incident, things took a really dark turn in February 2001. According to various sources, Lil Kim and her entourage bumped into Capone, who is one half of the rap group Capone and Noriega and a friend of Foxy Brown. An argument broke out outside the Hot 97 offices in New York City when Lil Kim and her crew crossed paths with Capone and his people. This confrontation escalated quickly, resulting in more than 20 shots being fired from 5 different weapons. Tragically, one of Capone's associates ended up getting shot in the back.
It was outside New York City radio station Hot 97 last week. Police say it was Lil Kim's posse versus friends of Foxy Brown. 5 guns in all, 21 shots fired, and 1 man shot in the back.
This incident was a big deal and made headlines, adding even more tension to the already heated feud. A week after the shooting, Foxy Brown extended an olive branch to Lil Kim, offering a truce. Foxy said, "I really don't know how it started, but Russell Simmons and we got together. And I said, Russell, I want to call a truce. I want to have a sit down with Kim. I don't care what it is. Let's just end it. We can even do a collaboration. We're bigger than this. If it has to start with me, let it start with me." Unfortunately, Lil Kim's camp didn't respond to Foxy's offer. According to some sources, the Bang Bang track played a significant role in sparking the shooting incident. Noriega, who was part of the track, mentioned that Foxy and Kim had beef whether Foxy was going to do Bang Bang or not. He said that Foxy would have ended up on someone else's record saying the same things. Noriega also explained that he and Capone didn't have any personal beef with each other. They were just representing their sides and letting the female rappers handle their own fight. But if Foxy needed their support, they were ready to back her. This stance was declared months before the shooting incident. Lil Kim, meanwhile, had bigger problems on the horizon. In April 2004, she was indicted and charged with conspiracy to commit perjury, making false statements, and obstructing justice. Initially, the police report stated that Lil Kim wasn't present when the shots were fired during the Hot 97 incident. However, 2 days later, it was determined that she was indeed at the scene. When questioned by the police the day after the incident, Lil Kim claimed she had no knowledge of what caused the gunfire and refused to disclose who was with her at the radio station. Lil Kim also allegedly lied when questioned by a grand jury in connection with the investigation. In 2005, Lil Kim was sentenced to a year and a day in prison and fined $50,000 for lying to a federal grand jury. She served her time and was released in 2006. By this time, Lil Kim had already released 4 albums, with her first 3 going platinum in the United States. Despite her success, she wouldn't release another album for several years, but did drop some mixtapes over time. Foxy Brown, on the other hand, hasn't released an album since 2001's Broken Silence. Her first 2 albums went platinum, and Broken Silence achieved gold status. In 2005, Foxy faced a severe hearing problem that significantly impacted her career, which was really unfortunate for her. In hindsight, it's clear that a lot of unfortunate events unfolded due to this feud. Fans have always hoped that one day these 2 iconic women could settle their differences because it would be monumental for the culture. However, given the injuries, legal battles, and time served, it's understandably a lot harder to move past these issues. But if they ever did, it would be incredibly significant and could set a powerful example of reconciliation in the hip-hop community.